Hello, I'm your host, Jean-Paul Baran, President of Focus on the Family Canada. Welcome to the Thriving Family, a Focus on the Family Canada podcast. This is the space where family, faith, and culture intersect. Thanks to generous donors who support our ministry, you can enjoy the Thriving Family podcast ad-free without any interruptions. In this season of the podcast, we're talking about healing scars. These are difficult and challenging topics, but I'm so thankful to serve God, the great physician who has the power to restore all. In today's episode, we are looking at what it means to be in a relationship with a highly sensitive person. By first understanding the characteristics and needs of a highly sensitive person, you can then identify how that's affecting your relationship, especially when it comes to navigating conflict, so you can create a safe, thriving marriage. Please note that reference to the individuals and organizations quoted does not constitute a blanket endorsement of either the individual's external work or the respective organizations. And all names have been changed to protect their privacy. Let's dive in.
When Sam and Annie were first married, they quickly learned that neither of them did well with conflict. By the end of an argument, they would both be reduced to tears, having been torn up about the confrontation and unsure of how to move beyond it. When Andrew and Haley were first married, they quickly saw that Haley was adept at arguing and unafraid of dealing with things head-on. Andrew, on the other hand, would withdraw, not wanting to feel the intense emotions brought on by conflict. It would be years until Sam, Annie, and Andrew found out that they both were what secular psychotherapist Elaine N. Aaron describes as a highly sensitive person, or, as they'll be referred to in this episode, an HSP. In her book, The Highly Sensitive Person in Love, Aaron writes that HSPs are that 15 to 20% of the human population, born with a nervous system genetically designed to be more sensitive to subtleties, more prone to deep reflection on inner experience, and therefore, inevitably more overwhelmed by outer events. Those who are highly sensitive are often affected by other people's moods, made uncomfortable by loud noises, deeply moved by arts, literature, or music, unpleasantly aroused when there's a lot going on around them and need to withdraw to a quiet place to get relief, overwhelmed when there's a lot going on around them and need to withdraw to a quiet place to get relief, avoidant of violent movies and TV shows. These descriptions are taken from Aaron's tried and tested questionnaire. While this is not an exhaustive list, it gives you a glimpse into the rich and complex inner life of an HSP. This unique temperament has been deeply misunderstood for years. Aaron explains that HSPs have been mislabeled with terms such as shy, fearful, introverted, or maybe even timid. In reality, being a highly sensitive person allows you to experience the world around you more acutely and engage in close relationships on a deeper level. Our culture's value of more dominant and aggressive temperaments, however, has led many HSPs to believe they are abnormal, weird, or that there's something inherently wrong with them. For many HSPs, the combination of being easily overwhelmed and being judged for something that's unchangeably who they are has been the cause of a lot of wounding for both men and women. Therefore, being an HSP in a close relationship such as marriage can lead to unique problems. Whether there are two HSPs in one relationship or an HSP with a non-HSP, but understanding how this temperament affects you and your spouse can also lead to a rich and deeply fulfilling marriage. While there are many problems and solutions that you may be facing if you are an HSP married to a non-HSP, or if you're an HSP married to another HSP, while there are many problems and solutions that you may be facing if you're an HSP married to a non-HSP, or if you're an HSP married to another HSP, for the sake of this article, we'll only look at 4 of each that Aaron includes in her book. We'll also look at the primary problem as well as the solution. Okay, here's the first scenario. HSP with non-HSP. In Aaron's words, mismatches in temperament and the resultant misunderstandings are certainly the greatest problem that temperament poses for those in close relationships. Let's look back to one of our stories from before. Haley, who is non-HSP, and Andrew, who is HSP, had to learn through trial and error to take the time to understand one another's differences and value those differences. The best thing they could do is understand what caused Andrew to feel overwhelmed, or as Aaron refers to it, over-aroused. But the road to understanding can be fraught with challenges. Here are 4 problems and solutions to HSPs and non-HSP relationships. Problem number 1. Non-HSPs seem to want more intimacy, while HSPs seem to want more time alone. Intimacy is defined by Aaron as revealing to another your most private and trust at this moment self. It could be thoughts, feelings, bodily self, and your spouse revealing their true self to you in return. And while it's a wonderful ingredient to a healthy relationship, HSPs can find intimacy to be an overwhelming experience, especially if it involves something like going out for dinner at a noisy restaurant. The HSP may withdraw and seek time alone to unwind, causing the non-HSP to feel rebuffed. The solution? Help your non-HSP spouse understand that intimacy can take many forms. Intimacy to an HSP may be silently reading together in the same room, instead of going to a concert or a restaurant, and that's okay if you're an HSP. Be sure to explain to your non-HSP spouse that what you need in order to feel safe enough to experience intimacy, whether it's some private downtime or being quiet in the same room together. Finding the balance between what you need to feel intimate and what your spouse needs will improve your relationship. Problem number 2. Both of you have to learn to deal with the HSP's state of overstimulation. As Aaron explains, if a couple does not understand the natural limits of an HSP, both people are likely to be constantly over-arousing the HSP. Then, you both have to deal with the consequences, such as irritability, blow-ups, bouts of depression, frequent infections and injuries, absent-minded mistakes, insomnia, or obsessive worrying. The solution? Accept and plan for your different optimal states of arousal. In her book, The Highly Sensitive Person, Erin explains that everyone, HSP and non-HSP alike, is at their best in an optimal state of arousal, where they're neither too bored nor too aroused. Taking the time to learn what you as an HSP need and explaining that to your spouse will help you both understand how to navigate and hopefully prevent states of overstimulation. Problem number 3. The HSP's sensitivity can seem judgmental, causing the non-HSP spouse to become defensive. Because an HSP feels and experiences things on a deeper level, they may start to view their non-HSP spouse as shallow or clueless. They may also take detailed notice of the non-HSP's flaws, which can then make the non-HSP feel as though they're never good enough and can't measure up to the HSP's high expectations. The solution? Appreciate each other's differences and be aware of the tendency to be critical. What seems to be flaws in their non-HSP spouse, they can intentionally rein in their judgments and learn to see the value of having a spouse who's different from them. Problem number 4. HSPs may prefer to quietly reflect upon their feelings, while non-HSPs may prefer to vocalize their feelings, especially when upset. When faced with a decision or conflict, whether it's as small as packing for a trip or as big as buying a new house, HSPs tend to go quiet and internally process their feelings. Often non-HSPs do the exact opposite, possibly giving a running commentary on everything they're doing and feeling and thinking. The HSP, being someone who is wanting to acknowledge and respond to their partner, will quickly become over-aroused by the exchange. This can lead to resentful irritation and even conflict. The solution? The HSP can ask for silence when they need it, but need to learn to listen to the running commentary when their non-HSP spouse needs it. This is another area where understanding your limits and your needs can help you to educate your spouse, and vice versa. There may be times when your non-HSP spouse needs to talk things through, or when your HSP spouse needs to be quiet. Both are acceptable responses and need to be valued, not criticized. Too much catering to one person, though, can lead to feelings of resentment. In an ideal HSP and non-HSP relationship, learning to balance and learn from one another's temperaments can lead to an interesting and exciting relationship. As an HSP, you will learn to be flexible. You'll be protected from things that would normally be upsetting for you because your non-HSP spouse can take the reins, and you may find great healing in having your unique, highly sensitive needs loved and known by your spouse. As a non-HSP, you will learn to notice the world around you with a new and deeper appreciation. Your HSP spouse's awareness of dangers will help you prevent trouble, and they may inspire you to lead a healthier lifestyle. Now let's look at another pairing, HSP with HSP. In her research, Erin has found that more than half of HSPs in relationships think they are with non-HSPs, when they actually aren't. This is especially common if a highly sensitive wife is married to a highly sensitive husband, who appears not to be highly sensitive. In our culture, sensitivity for a woman seems natural, but men with those same qualities are sadly bullied for it as they grew up, leading them to deny their highly sensitive nature. If both of you are HSPs, the previous section may make it seem that your shared understanding would keep you from any major problems, but, well, that's not the case. Erin writes, HSP-HSP couples have their own problems, thanks precisely to their double dose of sensitivity. Here are 4 problems and solutions unique to an HSP-HSP relationship. Problem number 1. Neither of you likes to deal with situations when you feel over-aroused. Situations that lead to an HSP feeling over-aroused vary, from cold calling the doctor's office to dealing with a rude waiter at a restaurant to confronting a difficult neighbor. Since HSPs tend to withdraw from these situations, having 2 HSPs in one relationship can mean that these difficult tasks are entirely avoided, leading to more consequences down the road. The solution? Realize that because these situations are difficult, they may be exactly what you need to do. It can be easy to think that having a non-HSP spouse would be preferable because they could save you from having to face your fears. But being able to lean into these situations together can help you both grow in confidence and may even empower you to find creative solutions. Problem number 2. You will most likely try to avoid conflict with your spouse. Erin explains that you may intellectually believe disagreements are inevitable, criticisms need to be voiced, and an argument can clear the air, but you may put it off indefinitely, even telling yourselves everything is fine. However, conflict can be a valuable and healthy part of bridging divides in your marriage. The solution? Discuss how to handle conflict, both before and after it arises. By coming together to talk about how to navigate conflicts before they arise, you're able to be on the same team instead of feeling like opposing forces. And when you get together after to see how things went, you can learn from your mistakes and better prepare yourselves for next time. Problem number 3. Since you both feel safe and comfortable with each other, your shared time may not be as exciting as you'd like it to be. For HSPs, the world outside is regularly overwhelming and over-arousing. When you're married to a fellow HSP, your home life can be the safe place the world is not. But as scary as the world can be, there are certain experiences that, though they first scared you, turned out to be thrilling and helped you grow. When you're both HSPs, there's a temptation to remain in your safe bubble instead of taking risks together. And when your safe bubble becomes boring, you may look elsewhere for excitement, leaving your partner feeling left out. The solution? Reserve some of your energy for doing things exciting together. Look at this example from Erin. She says, like dogs who haven't had a long walk in a while, bored people can stir up all sorts of personal and interpersonal trouble to keep a relationship interesting. To avoid the relationship boredom that can happen when 2 HSPs expel all their energy outside the relationship and come together to unwind, be sure to save up the energy you need to experience new things together. This can be anything from watching a new TV show to taking a class or going on a trip. Problem number 4. Because you both tend to take your time processing, it can be difficult to make a decision. For an HSP, decisions are fraught with the opportunity for missteps. They have to think about all the pros and cons, weigh all the possible outcomes, and consider risk-to-reward ratio before coming to a final decision. When there are 2 HSPs in a relationship, Deciding where to go for dinner can turn into an all-night discussion that leaves you both frustrated and hungry. Never mind deciding on vacations, house purchases, retirement plans. The solution? Be sure to make decisions based on fact, not ungrounded intuition. Instead of decisions being an opportunity for missteps, think about it as an opportunity for research. Getting information based in fact will empower you to navigate the fears you feel more acutely, such as fear of change and fear of failure. It can also be valuable to look back at the successful decisions you've made in the past and be emboldened by your ability to make wise decisions in the future. In an ideal HSP and HSP relationship, you and your spouse feel safe with one another. You understand each other. You're comfortable together. And you're adept at your ability to communicate. Plus, being known, loved, and valued as an HSP by an HSP can increase your self-esteem and confidence, as well as enable you to go deeper into your thoughts, feelings, dreams, and fears. Aaron writes, "In conclusion, rejoice in having found someone so like yourself." As we close our time today, let me share a final word with you. The goal of understanding your or your spouse's high sensitivity is not to feel limited or pigeonholed, but to be empowered to create the boundaries needed to thrive in relationship. Proverbs 19:20 tells us this: "Listen to advice and accept instruction, that you may gain wisdom in the future." These principles are thoroughly researched and have helped many highly sensitive people find firm footing in their lives. It's also important to remember that an HSP is not a one-size-fits-all. You can be an introverted HSP or an extroverted HSP. Add on to that your childhood experiences, your attachment style, love language, fears, dreams, and, well, you see why everyone is so different. As difficult as it was for Sam, Annie, Haley, and Andrew to face the learning curve of understanding what it means to be highly sensitive, they are now equipped with the knowledge of how to create a relationship where they can feel safe, comfortable, and valued. God knit you together as a complex and complicated person, wholly unique, and the best thing you can do for yourself and your marriage is to find out who you truly are. Be sure to check out the episode notes for creative ways to strengthen your relationship, a free marriage assessment tool, and articles related to today's topic.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of The Thriving Family, a podcast from Focus on the Family Canada. If you like this episode, please leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts, and be sure to subscribe. If you feel led, you can make a donation at focusonthefamily.ca/podcastgiving. This program is available ad-free because of the generosity of our donors. If you wish to talk about this further, or if it brought up something that you would like to talk through, you can have a free one-time consultation with one of our registered counsellors at Focus on the Family Canada over the phone. Give us a call at 1-800-661-9800 to request a consult. It's our gift to you. Most importantly, please remember that we are here for you and your family.